Hi, this is Mike from This Old Relic, and today I'm going to talk to you about my landscaping EDC slash emergency bag. Best way to describe it, so an EDC, which stands for everyday carry. These are items I carry with me every single day, but they're not items I necessarily use every single day, but those off chances where I really need them, it's really great to have them right there in the truck. So these are items I recommend that you find a spot for in the truck. There's some items I'm going to actually recommend. I'll put a affiliate link for Amazon for those so that you can link to those and check those out. I'll also leave a list of some of the other things that you might want to put in there. This is the best way that I can describe it, EDC, which is a term that's typically used in the tactical world, talking about your pistol or some of the things that you just carry with you every day, like your wallet, for instance, is an everyday carry item. Whatever you have in there, they're everyday carries. Things that you always like to carry around with you. And these are things that I like to have in my truck at all times. And I'll just, like I said, I'll leave a list on it for you. And these are just, a lot of these are emergency items, as I call them, but items that I run across every so often, maybe once a week, once every few weeks, that I'm going to need at some point in time. So I guess the other thing you can kind of say that this is just an emergency bag that I keep in my truck, just with a few extra items in it. So without further ado, I'll take you to the bag. Okay, so I'm going to go through and tell you a little bit. First off, we're going to go over this a little later. This last season is what I used for my everyday carry emergency pouch. It was kind of big in the truck. I still have a few items left in here. This was actually the saw I used. I got a new saw this year. I actually had 2 sets of pruners in here, just probably because I took them because, for whatever, made sure I had them, and then they ended up getting thrown in here. I had a couple of trowels. This one was in there, and this one was in here. Again, I'll go through with the trowel, but having extra pairs of gloves, which I haven't gotten in this new kit yet, but it will be going in there. This is what I used last year. It just took up a lot of space in the truck, and I didn't really like that fact. So we got rid of that, and we went in with this. So all this is, I kind of like the shape. I think if I had a standard cab truck, this would fit really nicely behind the seat and still have the seat kind of go back and everything. So I do really like this particular one. Everything's a lot more smaller and compact. The reason why I use this was my toiletry kit that I got this from Walmart very recently. I took this to Florida. This went to the submarine, and then I took this down to my son's chess match, state chess match. And I noticed this on the state chess match that it was ripped a little bit. We'll see how well that holds up. I'm using it now as a toolbox, so I'm not too worried or concerned about things being pretty imperfect. But if you're wondering what this is for, this is just so when it's in my gray truck with the dark blue, I can see it better. That's the only reason why I put that on there. And I got the whole roll of that stuff in here too. And that's going to actually come out of here. You can see I got that whole roll here. This is actually going to come out of here, get put into storage. The reason why I have this in here, it just got thrown in the toolbox. And what this was for is I did a big job where basically I had like 20 years worth of weeds growing amongst some shrubs, and the person wanted all the weeds grow out, which these things were huge trees amongst the shrubs. So I marked the shrubs so I knew to keep them, and then took this off later. So when I'm going through with my cutter, I can make sure not to cut down the shrubs that they wanted to keep. But this is the one item that doesn't fit in there. This will go in my truck, but it's not in this particular kit. But when we go in here, just kind of want to point out some of the stuff that I put in here. And this is kind of an emergency kit. At the same time, there's stuff in here that I might use semi-daily. Tape measure, paper, level. This is just a nice little giveaway that Kohler did. Has a pen on it. Threw that in there because you never know when you might need an extra tape measure. I usually have a bunch of these sitting in my glove compartment. And, well, right now, you can always never have too many of those. You're always looking for those. Back here, I got this chart that just came with HIPAA stuck in there because it's a good place to put it. And it doesn't take up much space. In here, we have a multi-tool. I do recommend getting a multi-tool that butterflies into pliers. because these are very useful, not to mention you have knives and everything else on it. I also would recommend don't go with the Guidsman that doesn't have locks on the knives and things like that, because instead go with something that's going to have a lock on the knives. I actually prefer Gerber. They're not too terribly expensive, but yet they're actually a really good quality. I will be getting a Gerber to replace that. Right now, I keep a Gerber in the console of my truck. It looks almost identical to this. It's just got a clip on it for the pocket. But I keep it in the center console of my truck. Usually what ends up happening is I use it for something, goes in my pocket, and then I forget about it. Doesn't get put back in the console. Get in the house, reach in my pocket, realize it's there, and then it sits in my house for 3 weeks. And then in those 3 weeks, I need the multi-tool. So that's why that's in there. This right here, I should probably do a video on how I did this. This is pull cord rope. If you break a pull cord, want to fix it in the field, there's about 7 feet worth of cord here. I could probably show you how I did this weave, just to show you. I also have a spark plug in here, and I got to add a couple more. This one's for like small engines, like weed whips and blowers and things like that. I need to get some for the mower. The Briggs & Stratton, I'll put in something in there that has the Briggs & Stratton OHV and the Briggs & Stratton flathead. And usually the Briggs & Stratton OHV are pretty close to specs with a lot of the other OHV engines. So if you're dealing with Honda OHVs and stuff like that, they'll at least get you through the job for the day if you really need a spark plug, so you can get out to the store to get one at the end of the day. All right, let's get into this pouch here. I got some extra earplugs over here at a cabinier clip, just in case I need that. 2-cycle oil, because you can never have too much 2-cycle oil. I'm looking, where do I find these packets? I got this from Walmart. Walmart no longer carries them. These things are phenomenal for storage because, I mean, they literally, look at how small that is. I want to find more. Tell me, I'll buy bulk. I want to know where to get that. So we got all that in there. I have extra safety glasses. I usually never use these, but they're there if I need them. I don't have clears, but I got the blue blocker ones if I need that. Also in here we have some loppers, some small loppers. I got a chainsaw wrench, which I believe should be the same size, the big end at least, as a spark plug. We'll just yank these safety glasses out of here. Scissors, because you can use scissors. I always put some extra weed whip in here, and the reason why is I'll have an occasion where I either have to return back to a customer's property to do some whipping because they called and complained, and I have to get back to it right away. But it might be after I've dropped the trailer and everything, so I'll just grab the weed whip and put it there, and then I run out of weed whip, the whip and the weed whipper at that moment in time. So I always keep, even though this is, it says commercial grade, this is like homeowner commercial grade, not anything really fancy, but this at least will cut down what I need, get done what I need to do, and I don't need to look any less professional than I already do by missing something or whatever. This is just a gauge to tell you mulch measurements. I stuck that in there. I usually use an app on my phone. I got a folding saw. This is really great too because a lot of times you will run into a branch that has fallen and that wasn't there the week before because it fell out of the tree and it's kind of large. You might have to cut it up to fit it in your truck or something. This should be able to hopefully do the trick. This is a Silki F-100 or F-80. I don't remember. I think it's the F-80. But I just bought this. You can see it's nice, new, and shiny because I had a really cheap saw before and I wanted to get something a little bit better, a little bit more robust. And I dropped a little extra cash, got the Silki. Silki is really high quality saws, so that's why I went with that. I think that's everything in there. And then over in here, I got a small can of WD-40. The reason why I have WD-40 isn't just to keep parts lubed. The reason why I particularly use WD-40, if I need to, you can use this as starter fluid. This is basically just a cutter to open up bags and things like that. A giveaway. It's a good place to put it. And then pair of wire cutters. These are really handy, especially dealing with cutting weed whip. So highly recommend putting those in there. And then in here, I keep one thing, which is just a safety vest. I usually like yellow over orange, but this one, again, was a giveaway at a convention. And it fits really well in this pocket, better than any of my yellow ones. They're too big. So these are my daily use items that I keep in this bag. This is basically like my everyday carry, but it's my emergency everyday carry, that the bag that I don't actually go into every single day. Now, there's a few other items you want to make sure, even if you don't have them in here, that you have them in your truck. You probably would want to have like some standard screwdrivers, at least a Phillips and a straight blade. Hammer is always good to have as well. Some type of hammer, rubber, steel, whatever. It could be small, but it's always good to have some kind of hammer. That wouldn't necessarily fit in this particular bag, but the other thing that's good to have, like I said, would be make sure you have a first aid kit, obviously, in your truck. I'll be going through the first aid kit in another video, and everything that I think you should have in your first aid kit. But this is just, just every day, if I got to do repairs in the field, the common repairs that I would do in the field, and having everything that I need to do that in one little nice convenient bag, so I could just go in here and grab that one thing. Because honestly, I don't carry a saw with me every day when I go to mow grass. Well, I do now, but I don't need a huge saw to cut when I'm cutting grass, because it's very infrequently that I run across a need for a saw. But if I do, I have it. I also have some pruners in case I need those. This is always good to have whenever you're dealing with a chainsaw, because I usually end up forgetting that. But this is just your basic kit. You probably also want to throw in an adjustable wrench, either in here or somewhere in your truck. So these are the items. Even if you don't put them in your bag, you shove them in your glove box, shove them in your center console, whatever. These are the things you kind of want to have in your truck. For me, I just found it very convenient to have them all in one little bag here, instead of trying to hunt around my truck every single time I need something. So that is my emergency everyday carry. If you like this video, please hit the thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you have any items that you think that need to be added to this bag, please put it down in the comments. Let me know. Let's help each other out and mill some ideas about. We're all in here to learn. We're all in here to grow. So let's go ahead and grow together. On that, I'll see you next time.